Welcome back to Robot My Life. Well, today we have the new HOBOT S7 Pro robotic window cleaner. Now, this has just been released for 2025. Now, it does a little bit similar to the S6 Pro. So what I'd like to do today is walk through the different features and advancements that the S7 Pro has had. Now, bear in mind that both these models are very unique in the market. HOBOT has developed with their exclusive patent and R&D a reciprocating pad system, which basically means that these pads will move backwards and forwards, scrubbing the window. Now, the S6 Pro was the first iteration of this design, and no other manufacturer has this design. And really, conceptually, the idea is it adds more scrubbing power when trying to clean your glass. Now, like all products, the first model will always have a few learnings, and the exceptional thing about HOBOT is that they take feedback from consumers and distributors like Robot My Life to enhance the product. And that's what we've got here today, is the new enhanced version, the new S7 Pro. So it comes in a box like so, and let's see what you get, which is pretty similar to previous models of robot window cleaners from HOBOT. You have your robot. Normally it's in a plastic bag, but obviously I've taken the bag for the video. You'll have a set of pads that are already attached to your robot, so it's ready to use. You've got your safety rope. Now, a little bit of the difference already, if you're familiar with the HOBOT range, is that what they've done with the safety line is now it's built inside the actual frame. So, less chance of falling off or detaching, whatever it might be. You've still got an extreme braking strength on your safety rope, exceeding 150 kilos. Now, the safety rope, generally, you don't need to always use it inside like a house like this. But if you are cleaning perhaps a balcony window or an area where if it was to fail, it could cause damage or risk to someone, you'd certainly want to attach your safety line. You have spare pads in here. So it comes with 3 in total. Our advice to any customer when buying a robot window cleaner is the one set is certainly not enough. When they start getting dirty, you want to take them off the robot. Otherwise, it will be akin to cleaning your windows with a really dirty rag or cloth. What would happen is you'd probably leave smear marks and dirt marks on the glass once it dries. You have your bottle of window cleaning solution. You have your remote control. If you're not familiar with this tech, one thing I really love about the HOBOT range is they really try to develop something for every user type. If you don't care about tech, you're simplistic, and you want something easy to use, well, you can just stick this on the glass and press play. It will do its job. If you want to be a bit more precise in how it operates, you could use the remote or you could use the app. You have spare spray nozzles in here, and then of course you have also your power supply that sits in here. So like all the HOBOT range, it's not a cordless robot window cleaner, it's plugged into power. Now, the reason being is this is all about safety. Batteries will only last for a certain period of time before they will fail. It does have a battery internally, but this is an emergency backup. If all your power was to shut off, it was cleaning a really high void of glass, it will stay adhered to the window for around 20 minutes with an alarm going off. Now, personally, when I use my window cleaner, I will actually use the app because the app will buzz in my pocket, letting me know that it's finished. And it doesn't mean I need to go back straight away, but I'm aware. But the same thing, if it was an issue and I wasn't in range, it's going to let me know. So that's what you get in the box. Let's talk about the product itself. They look kind of similar. They're both square. In fact, visually, you may not be able to immediately see the key differences. But the differences are really important because this cleans a lot better than this. Now, first of all, suction power. Historically, they don't normally give ratings on suction power with robot window cleaners, but they're starting to, and this one here is 4,800 PA suction. The other thing is it's a little bit less noisy than the previous version. It's got a muffled out system on the inside to reduce some of that noise. So if the noise annoyed you in the past, it's a little bit less noisy than the previous model. Now, one of the key differences when we look underneath is the actual caterpillar tracks. You'll see there's a new patented tread design and a different sort of rubber that is being used here. And you'll see here, this is the older design and this is the new design. Well, the reason being is this has been designed to disperse water and less inclined to leave track marks on the window. Really important because this has a lot more suction power than the previous model, so it's going to adhere very strong to the window. The other side of it is that they've actually modified the spray tanks on the new one. And a bugbear of mine was sometimes on a dirty window, the previous model wouldn't give quite enough solution onto the glass. So what they've done is they've actually have this now so it's spraying close to the surface and gives you more solution on the glass. And obviously, solutions are an integral part of cleaning your glass because the more moist the pad or the dirty the window, the more it's going to lift off. When we're looking at other little changes here, what is again really important for some consumers is you'll see these little round bump stops here that don't appear on the previous model. Well, this is to assist with the turning being square when it gets into edges that are unusual shape, is to help guide the robot to turn and rotate around. Previously, some types of edges on windows could potentially create an issue for the S6 Pro, not so much with the new S7 due to these little bump rollers that appear at the top and the bottom of the unit. And we've also got the ends here being modified. So you'll notice here on the ends like a silicone where before it was like a hard plastic, right? And you'll notice that the bump sensor here was quite small. This one here goes right around the edge. What are they used for? Well, if they touch something, it will signal the robot to move back on its algorithm. Whereas this one here being a bit harsher, not as smooth, not as soft, you don't want to scratch your glass or anything like that. And you also want to make sure that whatever angle it's coming on, it does trigger that sensor so the robot knows to move back and rotate and move to a different area. So again, something simple, but a really important change to this robot. Then, like I said before, you can see the safety rope is actually internal on this model, where the previous model was not. It would attach to here. So like I said, there's quite a few little features to the S7 Pro that to the naked eye, you might not notice them straight away, but when someone starts walking you through the differences, they are really significant changes as far as performance is concerned. Because we have the reciprocating pad that will be running at up to 1,300 times a minute backwards and forwards, cleaning your glass. You have more suction power, but then you have more features built into the robot that adapt to different frame types. Whether it be a silicone frame, whether it be a wooden frame, whether it be an aluminium frame, this one is far more capable. But like all things, how well does it clean? Because what we're concerned about is obviously cleaning our glass. Well, today we'll be cleaning some glass to show you how well it actually works, how well it sprays, how well it cleans, so you can be the judge on how this actually would operate for you in your home. So let's get into it. Let's do a demonstration for you of the S7 Pro, which is new from HOBOT for 2025. Ordinarily, it's one of the worst days to use a robot window cleaner. We've got wind, which means sometimes spray can not go where you want it. But regardless, we're gonna try and clean this window for you. Now, we've found a commercial premises that has a tinted window, a large pane of glass. The advantage is you can actually see how dirty it is. Where ordinarily, when we've tried to use robot window cleaners on clear glass, it's actually really hard to see what it's doing. Now, generally speaking, the process would be dry clean to remove the dust and dirt, then performing a wet clean. Well, we're going to break the mold a little bit today. We're going to jump straight into a really heavy sort of wet clean and see how it performs. Does it actually clean this glass well or not? Then we'll also do the proper process so you can see that as well. That way you get an understanding of how the HOBOT S7 Pro could work for you at home. Remember, robot window cleaners are about regular maintenance. It's about making sure that you can keep your glass in a pristine condition. One of the big advantages of the reciprocating pad will build static on the glass and help repel dust. But if you're only going to use it once a year, once every 2 years, well, that's not frequent enough. So sometimes you've got filthy windows, you might need to do a heavy clean first, wash down with soapy water, let it dry, then use the robot window cleaner to cut it back and polish it. Well, let's jump into it. Let's see how effective the new HOBOT S7 Pro is for you. I've connected to power, I've filled each side with solution and put the caps back on. The other thing I've done, which you'll need to do when you first obtain your HOBOT S7 Pro, is I've updated the firmware. That process is very simple. You hold the play button down, have the app open, turn the unit on, and that will enter a management mode where you will then get the latest firmware. Always important to do that no matter what sort of robot you're using. All right, really simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the unit on.
Hello, I'm HOBOT. Please tie the safety rope before use. A warning
It will talk to you,
must be established on the
give you
ground
some
below.
safety
Only fill the
parameters.
water tank with water
And as you know, this will be permanently attached and move around. We're going to leave it rolled up today.
to the app.
All right, so I just place it on the glass like so. Really easy. And all I'm going to do is press play and let's see how well it cleans. Okay, it's finished its cycle, so let's turn it off. I was actually pleasantly surprised by how well it actually cleaned the window. And you might be able to see it, my shoulder here is looking quite clean. And remember, this was not the actual proper process. We stuck it on, press play, and let it clean. And then check out the pads. They're really actually quite dirty. Round here, look, if this was a ordinary clean and windows, I would be looking at changing these pads now and also looking at cleaning my caterpillar tracks. You can see there's a lot of build up on both sides here. But it has cleaned exceptionally well. You remember when you saw it before, it was quite dusty and dirty. And we know that these windows have not been cleaned for about 8 months. So let's show you the window now and show you how well it has cleaned, and then we'll go on to cleaning another window with a different process. This is really an exceptional clean for a first clean. It's probably the best clean that I've seen one of the HOBOTs actually do, to be honest. What are the downfalls? I can see there's a couple of little lines here it missed and a little bit there at the top, but other than that, it's actually quite brilliant. It's really, really good clean. And remember, this was the incorrect process. Go right in. So if this is my home or my commercial premises, I'd be pretty impressed. Well, just behind me, I found a really dirty pane of glass, and now I'm using a different process. As you'll see in a second, I've added a little bit of solution to each of the pad. This is what we do when it's a really dirty window. Ordinarily, we do probably a dry clean first, remove the first layer of dust. But again, I want to show you how exceptional the new S7 Pro is. Now, if I was to add a little bit of a solution at home, I would normally use a spray bottle. It gets a better dispersion and spread. But today I've just used the HOBOT solution bottle, put a little bit around, so I've got more solution on the pad, so it's more moist, and you'll find it will clean really a lot better. Albeit that first clean you seen was exceptional, let's check out how well we can clean this pane of glass behind me. All right, same process as before. The only difference is we've added a bit of solution to the pads. We'll place in the middle of the glass, press play, and let's see how well it cleans this pane of glass.
Hello, I'm HOBOT. Please tie the safety rope before use. A warning.
All right, it is finished cleaning. Now, I've been doing this for a number of years now, and this is the very best clean I've ever seen a robot window cleaner do. It's exceptional. It is of a standard that you'll be extremely happy with, and I'll show you in a minute. But why? Why now? What is the difference? Well, if you see here, these pads are really quite wet. They're quite moist. Now, we can do this because we now have a 4,800 PA suction motor. It's really powerful. Not only that, the rubberized tracks have been changed so they're not going to slip. Look at the pattern on that. They can work with water on the glass. They're not going to slip. The combination of this with the extra solution on here means you get an exceptional finish. This glass was so dirty. The process I used, dry clean. I wet the pads, left the spraying system on. That's really important too, right? Because if this moves around because of friction and it moving, they'll start to dry a bit, so you want to keep them moist. That's what the spray system's doing. And when you see how clean this glass is, you'll be amazed. This is a fantastic robot window cleaner. If you use the right process, it's going to give you a great result. It will work on framed and frameless glass. But let's show you how clean this pane is compared to the other processes I've used. And I think you'll agree that this is a winning product that will make your life easier. So ordinarily in my experience, when you sometimes get to a final clean on a really dirty pane of glass, there's always a few bits you're not too happy with. When you check out how clean this glass is, I think you're going to be blown away. looks like a mirror finish. I mean, look at that. Absolutely stunning. What a clean pane of glass. I cannot fault it. Like all technology, it advances over time. The HOBOT robot window cleaner, in my opinion, the new S7 Pro, is at a point now where the majority of customers are going to be overwhelmed and really satisfied with the result. But remember, the process, dry clean, then wet clean. And when I say wet clean, if it's a dirty piece of glass like this one was that hadn't been cleaned for 8 months, I'm placing solution on the pad. I'm making it quite damp. And then I'm also leaving the spray system on. So I've got 2 things I'm doing. And that's my final clean, and that's what's giving me this exceptional result. And I was also cleaning the caterpillar tracks in between the dry clean and the wet clean. Grab one, try it out, you'll be blown away.